Hello, my name is Philip Saunders and welcome to Travel in the Know. Today we're in Tashkent, the capital of Uzbekistan, and unfortunately it's pouring with rain. It's poured all day, but I've taken shelter in the arches of this underground station. And like all capital cities of former Soviet states, the underground here is quite remarkable with a special story to tell. So let's escape the rain, get underground, and I'll see you in one of the stations very shortly. So let's find the entrance. Not getting in the rain again, that's for sure. Looks like it's all the way around. Aha, no. I've just found where to buy tickets. It's actually outside the station. Okay, let's go for it. An underground ticket costs 3,000 som in local currency, which I think is about 22 pence. So it's pretty good value at any rate. As you can see, there's some ladies buying tickets at the moment. Just there, don't want to impose on them, but we're next in the queue. Here we go. It's time to go and buy a ticket. Здравствуйте. Можно один билет, пожалуйста? Спасибо вам. Отлично. И Rahmat? Rahmat? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we have our ticket, and actually just like in Yerevan, it's a QR code. I think from what I've read it's valid for an hour after you buy it, and you can just go on to the underground, and actually as long as you don't come out again, although stores are heavy, as long as you don't come out again, then basically you can travel the system just as much as you want. Now there is a security check into every station, which I'm sure I won't be allowed to film, so I'll turn off the camera. So I've been through the security control, which you can see on the left of the picture. It's obviously to prevent any terrorist attacks or any security breaches. But one advantage here is that unlike in Yerevan, where it was a struggle to film, there are no bans on photography. I think that's been the case since 2018. Up until then you couldn't, but now you can. So that shouldn't be a problem. I do like the entrance to this station. It's kind of like a nice dome and you've got pillars supporting it, clad with marble all the way around. This is really what you expect in Soviet style underground systems. Right, let's try and go through the control barrier. I'm not quite sure how this works, but I think it's like that. Is it? Nope, that's not right. So I think I'll go and get some help. Как, пожалуйста? So I'm just getting a little bit of help from the lady. And here we go. Спасибо. Rahmat. Thank you. There we go. Easier than it looked. And here's the escalator. Now, in Yerevan, like in Moscow and St. Petersburg, we saw that some of the stations are quite deep. That's not the case generally in Tashkent, from what I've read. But still, again, you can see marble on both walls, no advertising, and then there's a lady at the bottom of the stairs in a little kind of hut, and it's her job to control the escalators and make sure that everything's safe, and that's true everywhere in this railway network. Now this is just like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Ekaterinburg, or indeed Yerevan. You see these two massive metal doors basically at every entrance to every underground station, and basically they're there so that this actually doubles up as a nuclear shelter in the event of a nuclear war and the doors could be closed. There's an additional requirement in Tashkent, which is that this is an area with a lot of seismic activity, which we'll return to. So not only do the stations need to be effectively bomb shelters, but also they're designed to be shelters in the event of a major earthquake. There's a train coming on the other side. Wow, looks pretty crowded on board. I've chosen a great time to ride the subway. This is a new Russian train. I've seen they've got plenty of them on the line, And these have literally been made this year, 2024. I'll have a look on board hopefully later. I hope it'll be less busy. And off she goes. The thing that's unusual about the construction of the Tashkent metro is that it's tied up with one of the biggest disasters in 20th century history for Uzbekistan. On the 25th of April 1966 there was an earthquake reaching 5.2 on the scale, but unfortunately the epicenter was directly under the center of Tashkent, between 3 and 8 kilometers below ground. It destroyed the homes of hundreds of thousands of people and is reported to kill between 15 and 200 people. Unusually, the head of the Soviet state, who wasn't often seen in public, Leonid Brezhnev, actually visited the site of the disaster. And within 2 years, there was a massive building project, which is why this city looks so modern. And the decision was taken in 1968 to build an underground as well, which would be safe in the event of an earthquake and would also resist all seismic challenge. And they got to work. I think the reason that the station is so busy, and probably all of the others as well, is because it's 1 p.m. on Friday. And I suppose it's busy, people going home, getting ready for the weekend. Well, that was my first trip. It was busy, it was very full, so it didn't seem right to film. But I've moved one station on the Red Line, which, by the way, was the very first line to open. It opened in 1977, so 9 years after the plan was created. And this station is called Paktahor. So these are the ladies who control the trains and look after everybody's safety. Looks like a paddle for table tennis, but I don't think it is. Paktahor means cotton grower, and Uzbekistan historically has been one of the most important cotton growers in the world, although it's also trying to move into other areas. And obviously you can tell that from a pictorial perspective, all of the walls represent the cotton flower, kind of in the traditional Uzbek artistic style. The great thing here is that all of the underground stations are so impressive. So I'm just going to go one more stop to, no idea how it's pronounced, Mustaqillik Maidoni? I don't know. Sorry?
Mustaqillik Maidoni.
That's beautiful, you say it fantastically.
Durdona.
And your friend?
Firuza.
Do you travel on the metro a lot?
Yes.
Do you like it?
No,
No, why not?
it's a daily routine for us.
And very routine and
Yeah.
very busy.
Yeah,
But the stations are beautiful.
for you.
How do you say train?
Pois.
Poyas in Russian.
Yeah.
And in Uzbek?
Pois.
Poyas as
Yeah,
well?
also.
Okay, very good. Rahmat.
Aho.
Very nice to meet you. Great, so the ladies helped me with the name of the station. Above us is actually the main square of the whole of the city of Tashkent. So unsurprisingly, up until 1991, this was known as Lenin Station. But with the collapse of the Soviet Union, the name changed to Independence Square. And basically this is amazing. All of the marble comes from the Kizilkum Desert in western Uzbekistan. And the feeling here for me, it feels like Cinderella land. You've got all of the chandeliers lit up in the central platform area, although not over the trains, and these beautiful columns. And also this station's definitely a slightly higher height than the others, also one of the original stations from 1977. But I have to say, I find it just magnificent. Travelled one more station, Amir Temur something or other. Anyhow, this is basically a little planer, but it's a transfer station to line number 3, the Green Line. And the Green Line is the most recent underground line. So let's go and have a look. It'll probably be fairly modern. This feels like a rather space-age tunnel to me, or a little bit like the effects at the beginning of Doctor Who when Tom Baker was the Doctor. Anyhow, I could just imagine a great scene from Space 1999 being filmed here, but you have to be old to remember that. This is Bodomhor Station, and this is on the Green Line. So again, it's one of the most modern stations, dates back about 24 years. But I love it. It's not the most intricate, but it's got a beautiful feeling of space, simplicity, and back to space. It feels a little bit space age. This station, Cosmonaut, is the pride of the whole of the Tashkent metro system. It was opened on the 31st of December 1984, and its objective is to celebrate the exploration of space, and most particularly the achievements of Soviet cosmonauts. That's why you see portraits of the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin, on one mural, and on the other side of the station you see Valentina Tereshkova, who was the first woman in space as well. So quite fantastic. And if you look at the light blue to the dark blue and black on both sides of the walls, that's designed to represent Earth's atmosphere. And then at the top, the lights, that represents the Milky Way. So the whole theme of space permeates the station perfectly. And also, I love these green glass columns. They're not actually lit up, but you can actually feel the contours of the Uzbek design. And without the lights even, you can see it looks like little stars from the Milky Way reflected on the columns. Absolutely wonderful. And here we are, we've stopped off at the Tashkent station. It's full of murals celebrating the Soviet way of life in Tashkent and Uzbekistan. Quite impressive. But the main reason we've stopped here is because this is the railway station. That's Vokzal in Uzbek, which is exactly the same word as in Russian, despite the fact that Uzbek is a Turkic language. And here we are in our last station for today on the Blue Line, and wow, I think it's my favourite station. It's just amazing. It's called Alisher Navoy. It's named after an Uzbek poet, a famous Uzbek poet from I think the 15th or 16th centuries. And the domes are indeed supposed to represent the traditional Uzbek art from this period, effectively like the roof from a madrasa or from a mosque. And it's just spectacular. This is truly an underground temple. It almost seems too grand, too remarkable for public transport. But that's what it was like in the Soviet Union. All great cities of the Soviet Union eventually built these amazing underground palaces, and really it's tremendous because this is one heck of a way to get around town. Before we leave this extraordinary metro system, we should reflect on the architectural wonder it is. I mean, not just the stations, but the fact is that this whole system, every single station, all of the tunnels were built to withstand a seismic event of up to 9, yes, I repeat, 9 on the Richter scale. How did they do that? Well, first of all of the stations are extremely solid. They were built between a depth of 8 meters and 26 meters, not as deep as Moscow or St. Petersburg, but a different means of excavation. They basically excavated enormous pits, built the stations inside them, then surrounded them with very thick, massive rubber padding, and then filled in the entire area so it's absolutely solid. And apparently, I'm no technician or engineer, but this means that these stations can withstand really massive earthquakes and even provide shelter when required. What an achievement. What a metro. If you're in Central Asia, this was also the first. It must be the best. So undoubtedly worth a visit if you're in Uzbekistan. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you might like this film, which is about trains, metro, and even a children's railway in Yerevan. Or alternatively, this film up here, which is about my visit to the main bazaar here in Tashkent. In any event, Rahmat, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon again on Travel in the Know.